We've had three Hercules have gone into the eastern desert area, brought back a number of British nationals, but also many, many others, and it was a mission that was not without its difficulties. Also today we've seen HMS Cumberland pick up more people in Benghazi and now heading back towards Malta. Again, some British citizens, but many, many other nationalities were helping as well. So that is good news, that is good progress, and we are now putting serious pressure on this regime. We have introduced today a travel ban, asset freeze. There'll be further export measures that will be taken as well in the coming hours. And all of this, I think, sends a very clear message to this regime. It is time for Colonel Gaddafi to go, and to go now. There is no future for Libya. That includes him.
Now, earlier, the Foreign Secretary told us that you tried to get permission from the Libyans to go in, but you didn't get that permission, which makes the mission seem all the more risky. What were you weighing up when you decided to send in a British military plane into Libyan airspace?
Well, it is risky and it is difficult, but I judge that it was the right thing to do because there are British citizens spread out across those oil platforms, particularly in the eastern desert area in Libya. We need to get those people home. We need to do so safely. We can do so helping many other nationalities at the same time. Obviously, Libya is a country in complete chaos, and so it is difficult to arrange these things, but it was the right thing to do, and I pay tribute to the very brave pilots and to this armed services personnel who've managed to help so many British citizens back to safety, and I'm delighted they've been able to do that. That is part of what needs to be done. The next part is real pressure on this regime. The asset ban, the travel ban, the asset freeze, the measures we're taking against the regime to show just how isolated they are. A very clear message tonight that it's time for Colonel Gaddafi to go. He should go now, and Libya's future has no future with him at the helm. Absolutely none. Thank you. Okay.
Thanks very much.
David Cameron there, reiterating comments by William Hague over the last few days that Colonel Gaddafi should go. The time for him to leave is now. He made it clear that the UN vote on sanctions and Britain moving to freeze Colonel Gaddafi's assets sends a clear message that the end should be coming sooner rather than later. As far as the UK government is concerned, Colonel Gaddafi should go now. Well, our political correspondent Ben Wright joins us from Westminster. Ben, it was interesting in that interview there, comments where he talked about trying to get permission to fly these C-130 Hercules aircraft in to get the Britons out, but not getting that permission.
Yes, that's right. That's what the Prime Minister said. I mean, clearly there was pretty much a news blackout preceding the airlift out of those British workers from the Libyan desert. Intense work being done to try and dot the I's, cross the T's, make sure that permission was there before British military planes went in and special forces went in. But yes, very interesting that David Cameron saying the permission was sought, but in the end not given. But they went ahead and did it anyway. I think interesting too that the tone really has hardened over the last 24 hours or so during today. William Hague this morning saying that it is now time for Colonel Gaddafi to go. Now David Cameron this evening reiterating that. I think in the preceding that, running up to today, there had been a real reluctance on the behalf of the British government to express a clear preference about what they wanted to see. I think in line with how they have viewed many of the other uprisings in other North African countries and Middle East countries. They don't want to be seen to be picking a leader in these places. But it is very different now regarding Libya. They're saying quite clearly that Colonel Gaddafi should go. He should not be the leader of that country anymore.
OK, we'll leave it there. Ben Wright at Westminster, many thanks. Now, opposition leader Enda Kenny has pledged to try and renegotiate the Irish Republic's European Union bailout when he takes office. Votes are still being counted, but Mr Kenny's Fine Gael party looks like being the largest single winner following this week's election. Here's our Ireland correspondent Mark Simpson, and this piece contains some flash photography.
How's it going? How are you doing? How are you? The Irish people have voted for change, and this is the man they expect to deliver it. Opposition leader Enda Kenny is Ireland's Prime Minister in waiting. The government which oversaw the collapse of Ireland's economy has been voted out. They lost 2/3 of their seats. Enda Kenny says the Irish people have shown the world that democracy works.
There's been a democratic revolution here. People did not take to the streets, they took to the ballot boxes in giving their verdict through democracy.
He won the most votes, but not an overall majority. It looks like he'll try to form a coalition with the Irish Labour Party. The new government will try to renegotiate the terms of Ireland's international bailout. So what are their chances of success?
There may be some flexibility in terms of rates of interest or the length of time that Ireland gets to repay this money, but the money still has to be repaid, and it's 85 billion euros. That's about a third of Ireland's gross domestic product.
It's clear the next government faces a huge challenge. Ireland's financial crisis has attracted international attention, but the country still has friends abroad. Next month, the new Prime Minister will be welcomed in Washington. And later this year, the Queen is expected to make her first visit to Ireland. Mark Simpson, BBC News, Dublin.
OK, time for all the weather news now with John Hammond.
Hello there. It's going to feel quite chilly at times over the next few days, and overnight, where the skies stay clear, we're going to see some frost. Now tonight, the clearest of the skies will be closest to this area of high pressure, namely in the west. Further south and east, we've got this front, which will keep a lot of cloud going during the course of the night, and that cloud will actually be a blanket and will prevent a frost from forming, whereas under the clear skies all the heat escapes into space, and we'll see the lowest temperatures. So the blue colours indicating that frost developing as we go through the night. Quite a sharp frost too, and perhaps one or two fog patches, notably across parts of Northern Ireland. Temperatures by the end of the night widely down below freezing, perhaps as low as -3 in the Glasgow area. More like 2 or 3 above freezing across. And they could begin to turn a little bit wintry up over the high ground.
Is complete.
A big decision for India. Strauss has to depart after a magnificent innings of 158. Zahir gets 2 and 2. The crooked finger goes up. And could there be another twist?
Is just fine.
You do realise. It was covered by snow, but not apparently.
Lines from Jon Snow with the Channel 4 News.
Good evening. Police searching for the missing Bristol architect Joanna Yates have found a woman's body. Joanna disappeared after a night out with friends 8 days ago. Jane Death reports.
A couple were enjoying a Christmas morning walk with their dogs when they found a woman's body. It was covered by snow.
We've had this date since